Joining us now on the MARR Army Rock Show. I do believe it's Red Jumpsuit Apparatus' first appearance on our show. We've got Ronnie Winter, I'm going to say, I think a founding member of Red Jumpsuit Apparatus. They're out of Florida. Their Shooting Star single is out right now. Ron, welcome to the show.
I'm making my grand entrance.
And we really appreciate it. I'm thrilled to talk to you. You know, it's not often I get to talk to somebody who's been like a rock-solid band member for 16 years. So I'd like you to look back a little bit at the history of your band. When it started, did you have any idea that, 16 years later, here you'd be?
I'm that weird guy who says yes to that because my brother and I were playing music when we were like 7 or 8 years old, and we had acoustic guitars. And I grew up, my mom was really into like MTV and VH1, so like at our house it was totally cool to have that channel going. So we grew up watching Van Halen and Pink Floyd videos, and like it was just a cool time to be a kid, and like so we always just wanted to do that.
Now, what has been the secret for your band lasting so long? I mean, it's just hard to do that anymore. Is there been any kind of key, or has it just been good luck? What's been the key, do you think?
Yeah, that's a hard question. I really think the key is the same kind of cheesy stuff you always hear, which is don't give up. There's been a lot of ups and downs. We've had some huge achievements. We've had some low years, but we never took an official hiatus. We never broke up as a band. It's just... I continued to push through, and I think it's just important to keep trusting whatever it is that you think causes like positive things in the world. I call it God, other people call it the universe, whatever you think is the source for when good things happen. Just trust that thing. That's what we do.
Now, one more kind of historical question, then we're going to talk about the new stuff. Looking back, what was the pivotal thing that really took you guys to that mega level? Was it the release of Face Down, or was it a tour? What was it that launched you guys to that big-time level? Yeah,
well, Face Down was out a year before Virgin re-released it. So, if you know the backstory intimately, which only really I do, because I'm the only human who lives through every event, but essentially, that was a re-release. So, like, for us, it was already an old song. So, it's definitely been interesting how it all played out. We've had some number ones with major labels, and we've had some number ones independently. So I've seen how it works on both sides, and I think the thing that you just have to remember is just write good songs and don't worry about it. Just write good songs, don't worry about it. So for me, the pivotal moment is when people started to react to my songwriting. When you play a song in front of people and they like it, and then all of a sudden the second time you're playing it for them, they know the words, that was the pivotal moment for me. That's when I knew, okay, this sound is going to work.
So let's talk about the newer single. Let's talk a little bit more about Shooting Star. Tell me a little bit about the song and what it's about.
It's cool, man. I mean, we've been in band 16 years, as you said, and one of the things we've done from the very beginning and that we're pretty much known for is just have lots of truth laced in our lyrics. Our first big hit was, you mentioned it earlier, Face Down, which was just pretty much a documentary about domestic violence, which is what me and my brother grew up in a household. My mom was getting abused by my father, so it's always been a super personal song to me, and I've always been very open about that. So that's, instead of doing the eyeliner and the leather and the studs and all that, that's our thing, is honesty. So we're just keeping in lines with that, and Shooting Star is very much just where I have been. And we took a 4-year hiatus before putting out a new record, and one of the reasons why is because of what Shooting Star explains, which was me just kind of going through this struggle with alcohol and just deciding that it wasn't good for me and giving up on it. And I wanted to put some time in it, so I wasn't just saying that and then turning around and one day saying, hey, look at me, I'm sober, life's good, and the next day I'm drunk on stage, and like you've seen many times in the past with a lot of celebrities. So I wanted to just take some time and make sure this was something that really made sense for me, and it really has done a lot for me. So I filmed a video about it and wrote a song and put it on our concept album, just in case there's anybody else out there like me and they can see that what it's done for me.
Talk a little bit more about the music video and the making of that video for Shooting Star.
It's pretty cool. There's a lot of little Easter eggs in there for fans who have been with us a long time. The longer you're a band, the more you have to put like secret codes in to keep the old school fans interested. But we actually filmed it, and my wife is the co-star. She's an artist. Her name's Defoe. Her album just came out, Too Soon to Cry. It's doing extremely well. for her, and we're really excited about that. She actually started it, so I didn't have to use an actress. That was great. And we also filmed it where we got married, so that's just wild when you think about it. This lead singer and this solo artist got married in this crazy church in Mount Baldy, which is way, 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 way up on the top of the mountain, just like you would imagine in like a storybook, Disneyland story tale. We actually got married in there, so then later here we come back, 4 years later, and we filmed a video for a song that's kind of about all of that. So it's really just, it's not your normal video. A lot of people say that, but this really isn't. It's very special to me anyway. So if you're a fan of any of my music, then that should matter to you.
So as I was prepping for this interview, I always really try to figure which song kind of I enjoy listening to, and just something I repeat a lot. And it surprised me on The Awakening, the song Unfinished Business kind of jumped out at me. Tell me a little bit about that tune.
Yeah, another good one. You seem to just like the acoustic ones, and I know a lot of people like that. Guardian Angel is huge, arguably bigger than Face Down, by the way. And Unfinished Business, a lot of people are kind of calling that like Guardian Angel 2, and it's, I just like putting one or two songs on a record that's really stripped. A lot of these songs I write the way I wrote Unfinished Business first. That one, I just didn't add a bunch of stuff to it. So it's very cool that you like that one, because that's just literally me as a songwriter laid bare. It's lyrics, it's a simple melody, and it's a simple progression, and that's it. But you'd be surprised, a lot of people have really been moved to that song. So I like to remind them, because the first half of the record kind of beat you out over the head with all this metal and awesome guitar riffs and like really intricate digital harmonies, and it's just very musically complicated, and we're proud of the orchestration. And then I leave you with, oh yeah, this is the way Johnny Cash did it.
So you guys are about to have quite a variety of live dates coming up. I know you can't give the whole list, but any special shows you want to highlight, or you just want to direct people where to see the rest of the Don't Hide Your Light tour?
Yeah, I mean, we care about all the shows. I'm definitely not going to cherry pick one or the other.
Right.
I'm excited to get back to the Fargo, Sioux Falls area, just because if most people, I lived most of my life in Arizona, then Florida, then California, and what those three things have in common is really hot summers, and a lot of sun. So and southern acclimate. So when you go up into these really kind of mid-northwest areas, it's a different world up there. The people are really interesting. The food is different. It's cool. So I'm looking forward to going to that area. Not I'm not saying they're better than anyone, but it's just fun. It's always cool. I mean, how often? Nobody from my town's going to Fargo next weekend. So I get to say those kind of things. The bigger cities, Chicago, LA, New York, a lot of people fly there, Nashville, to vacation. So it's not as special because everybody's there, not just musicians. But I like these other ones, these little gems of the country. Some of these old songs were written about, that we grew up learning in high school. I've seen a lot of that, and I'm grateful for that.
For some reason, you guys seem to have done so well in Australia. How did that happen? What's the link to Australia, guys out of Florida?
Here's a better question. What's the link between you finding that odd and it actually being reality? It sounds to me like the Australians just like good music, and that's the answer. They really do have a strong following for, they stick with bands,
Yeah.
It's not every fan is a Fairweather fan. It's definitely very common in the United States. So our following, I would say, for at least the last 6 or 7 years, maybe longer, has been much larger and growing in Australia and also Southeast Asia predominantly. We're still just growing at an insane pace over there. So music is different in different areas. That's what's great about being a worldwide artist, which we have been for a long time now. And we really enjoy going to Australia. What can I say? The kids just pack the shows out. They're just wild in the crowd, and every song we play, it's really amazing. So again, if you live here and you've just never even been there, we tend to just think about ourselves. That's all I can say. But when you've traveled the globe, you get that more world perspective.
So when you guys were coming up, so many bands have a band that, took them under their wing or whatever. Did you have such a band? Was there a band when you first got started that was either a mentor or kind of guided you guys along the way?
Yeah, a lot of people helped us. I mean, I only got here because, the right people gave me the right advice at the right time. And, I can think of many, but some of them, your listeners may not consider famous, so I'll cherry pick from the A-list. But one of the guys who helped me a lot in the very early on was Jared Leto from 30 Seconds to Mars. We our album wasn't even out yet, so we were really nervous because, we were essentially what is known as a local band. So, Florida, Atlanta, Georgia, Alabama, they all knew who we were because that's where we could tour on the weekends because we all had jobs. So you're signed to, a big label, Virgin Records, but you still work a job. Nothing happens overnight. And then, they were fortunate enough to accept us on as openers, which they could have said no, because Virgin said, hey, we got this new band with kind of a weird band name, but the music kind of fits with your guys' as far as like it being rock and heavy, So they said yes, and they took us out on tour. And that was our first real tour. So, I mean, we went from, just doing the best a local band could do, 3 to 4 day strings in a row, to boom, we're opening up for 30 Seconds to Mars. I mean, that was a bit of an adjustment. So we were just terrified. I mean, they're a huge band, and the singer is a movie star, literally. Can it get much worse to be the opener? There's no way you're going to top that. And then, throughout that tour, they gave us a lot of advice. All their crew guys were really nice to us. Timo, the guitar player, actually came onto our van, our little white crappy van, even though he had a bus, and hung out with us. And I don't know, man, right then we really just kind of connected with those guys, and they gave us the right push we needed in the beginning, because it's really tough in the beginning. Before your album comes out, nobody believes in you. Nobody had heard Face Down. Nobody, unless they were in the Southeast, nobody knew Guardian Angel. Nobody knew any of those songs, and we needed the motivation. So I'd say they're the biggest example.
Well, an impressive career, to say just the least. The new single's out right now, Shooting Star, which is absolutely great. Ronnie Winter of Red Jumpsuit Apparatus. Go check out their tour that's coming up, as well as the new single and video. Ronnie, thank you so much for spending time with us today.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much for fitting me in. I appreciate your time, and thanks for having me.